Good afternoon, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. Just a couple of things before we get started. It's great to welcome back Councillor Ashmore to the chambers. Good to see you after such a hiatus. Also, I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular council meeting of May 20th, 2025, and a couple of reminders for today's meeting. Members of the media may sit in the upper balcony at the reserved media table. All other guests, please take a seat in the first floor gallery. If that is full, there is overflow seating on the second floor in the Victoria Room, where you will be able to see and hear the meeting. We live stream the meeting on your YouTube channel, and the recording is available after the meeting. This meeting is also broadcast on Broadcast Live on your TV, Cogeco Subscribers Channel 10, HD Channel 700, and rebroadcasted on Wednesday at 9 a.m. and on Saturday at noon. Because meetings are accessible to the public in all of these ways, video or audio recording by members of the public is not permitted in council chambers. This is to ensure that all attendees and those who come to make a deputation feel at ease. However, we do have some celebrations going on today for longevity and to celebrate our paramedics. So if family or friends are here and want to take some pictures, we will certainly waive that for today's meeting. Thank you for your cooperation. Moving into our opening ceremonies, I'd ask everybody to rise and join us in the singing of O Canada.
The true north, strong and free, from far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. We'll now have a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Councillor Richardson, do you have the adoption of today's agenda?
I do, and through you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor McDonald, that the agenda for the open session of the regular council meeting on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 be adopted as circulated with the following amendments. Addition, item 6.1 being a deputation by Diane Killeran regarding a request for reduction of traffic and traffic calming for speeding vehicles in Elgin Street and Lindsay relating to item 12.2 on the agenda.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on adoption of the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's passed. Moving on, item 4.1 is recognition of years of service milestones for City of Kawartha Lakes employees. I'll turn it over to you, CAO Taylor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and through you, I'm actually thrilled that we're taking the opportunity to recognize and appreciate sort of all of our municipal staff throughout the city, and especially here today. We want to recognize milestones and achievements of those employees that have been in long-standing here at the City of Kawartha Lakes. May is Employee Appreciation Month. So overall, it is a time for us to slow down a little bit, reflect on who we're working with, what we're doing, what we're accomplishing. And so this is really one piece of celebrations that are happening over the month. I think it is important. You've heard me say this before, probably. Sometimes we need to have that reminder in our calendar. We sort of take for granted that there is a machine out there with many people that are doing a lot of great work and contributions to the city. So glad that it's May and glad that we're able to recognize. So what I was hoping to do, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to go through employees that have reached 25 years of service here at the city. And it won't be in any particular order because they're all the same in terms of where they met. So I'm going to start with my own department, and I want to recognize Kimberly Page. She began her service as a municipal prosecutor and continues to serve in this capacity with distinction. Kim is a pleasure to work with, and for many years she's been a one-person prosecution team here at the city, but her approach is always measured, fair, and that's to the benefit of the community in that program. So thank you so much. From the Community Services Department, I want to recognize 25 years of Craig Shanks. He began his career with the town of Lindsay in 1999 as a program and promotions manager. In 2021, following the amalgamation of the city, he moved into the role of manager of Parks and Rec. His leadership and dedication led to his appointment as the Director of Community Services in 2013, and he served in that position with distinction until his recent retirement last year in 2024. So thank you, Craig. From Community Services, Marielle Van Engelen began her career with the city as an employee support secretary. Since then, she's contributed to several departments, including HR, now People Services, Community Services, Public Works, and currently works within our purchasing division. So thank you. And to our fire service, there are a number of 25-year recognitions here. So I'll start with Tim Groen and Jason Teal. Began their careers with the municipality as volunteer firefighters and currently serve as volunteer fire station coordinators. Congratulations to them. Ryan McAmoyle joined the volunteer firefighters ranks and has dedicated 25 years of service to the community in that capacity. Randy Watson, initially a volunteer firefighter, now serves as a volunteer fire captain. Congratulations, gentlemen. Dustin Heacock started as a volunteer firefighter and transitioned to a full-time role in the fire service in 2024 as a fire training instructor. Valerie Knights began her career with the village of Omemee in 1999, and over the years she has served as the EA, Executive Assistant to Fire Services, where her organizational skills, attention to detail, and strong work ethic have made her an invaluable asset to that department. And I do want to recognize she also contributes mainly by interest personally to the city's emergency management program, and she is a very strong part in that program being developed and expanded to where it is today. So thanks, Val. Jeremy Thomas joined the municipality as a volunteer firefighter and transitioned to a full-time role in 2021. He serves as a professional firefighter. In our Human Services Department, Sarah Avery began her career as a field worker in the Social Services Department for the County of Victoria. In 2020, she transitioned into the role of Program Supervisor, and I saw Sarah somewhere earlier today. Congratulations. Karen Barter started as a receptionist with the County of Victoria and Haliburton Social Services. She continued her career with Social Services as a customer relations rep in that same department. Beverly Binks began her tenure as a caseworker and continues to serve the community in the capacity of client services worker. Shannon Clark began her career as a tax collector in the Township of Fenelon before transitioning to the Human Services Department, as well a client services worker. Kelly Robinson started as a library clerk in the town of Lindsay before moving into roles as a receptionist and a caseworker. She is currently serving as a client services worker. And Connie Trail began her career as a nursing attendant at Victoria Manor in 1999, and over the years, she transitioned to the role of client services worker in the Human Services Department. Jeffrey Waldron started as a building custodian with the Victoria Haliburton Housing Authority. He continues to provide exceptional facility maintenance within the Human Services Department. And our last 25-year quarter-century acknowledgement is Heather Saigon with the library. Began her role as a library page at the Fenelon Falls Library in 1999 and has spent the past 25 years dedicated to supporting and enriching the experiences of library patrons. Those are our 25-year employee recipients. Mr. Mayor, as you can see, we are certainly blessed with a long list of long-standing employees. We certainly appreciate all that they do for the city and for their respective communities. We do, though, also are especially blessed in having employees that have reached milestones beyond 25 years of service. And so with that, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to turn it over to you to recognize those additional recipients.
Thank you very much. And it's certainly my pleasure to recognize these folks with more than 25 years service. I don't take it as a slight that they picked the oldest guy in the room to do this, but I think it says something when people work for 25 years or more for the same organization. It not only speaks to their loyalty and dedication, but it says something about the organization that they're working in, that they feel comfortable, that they are, if you can enjoy work, they enjoy coming to work, and they meet colleagues, friends, and it becomes a lifestyle. So I congratulate all of you who I have achieved those years of service. And I'll start with community services. And we have Sean Davidson, who began his career as a parks worker with the town of Lindsay. In 2014, he moved to the role of parks crew leader. In fire service, we have Brian Bokaboom, started his career as a volunteer firefighter in Lindsay before joining the full-time fire service in 1995. His dedication and leadership led to his promotion to captain in 2016. In paramedic services, we have Cindy Miniker, and she began her career at Victoria Manor as a administrative clerk and resident care clerk before assuming her current position as administrative assistants in paramedic services. Those folks achieved 30 years of service. The following employees have achieved 35 years of service, and again, we'll start in community services with Paula Fisher, who began her career with the town of Lindsay as a swim instructor and lifeguard. Over the past 35 years, she has shown unwavering commitment to water safety and community well-being. In fire services, John Pearson began as a volunteer firefighter with the Lindsay Fire Department and has continued to serve in this role since 1989. Tim Brazier began his service as a volunteer firefighter in 1989 and transitioned to a full-time role in 1996. Over the years, he has demonstrated outstanding leadership and dedication, culminating in his current position as platoon chief. But all that hard work apparently has hurt his golf game, but we won't go into that now. Brian Junkin started his firefighting career with the Bobcaygeon Burlum Fire Department and has dedicated 35 years to serving his community. Through his commitment and leadership, he now holds the position of fire captain. In our library, we have Jane Davis and Kathy Hamill Hill, and they began their careers in 1989 as assistant librarians. For over 3 decades, they have continued to serve their communities with dedication, working as valued library branch staff and supporting local library services across the municipality. In Public Works, we have Cliff Archer, who began his career as a roads employee with the Township of Mariposa. He continues to demonstrate service excellence in his role as a heavy equipment operator. Also, John McRae began his service with Manshurst Township and remains a loyal and dedicated employee. He continues to serve the community as a heavy equipment operator. Now we move to folks with 40 and 45 years service. Larry Blodgett has dedicated 40 years service as a volunteer firefighter. He currently serves as the station coordinator within the volunteer fire service. Danny Barr joined the Bobcaygeon Fire Department as a volunteer firefighter in 1984. He transferred to a full-time firefighter and has served with our Fire Services Department for 40 years and currently holds the position of first-class firefighter. Jody Clements began her career with the County of Victoria as a reception. Over her 40 years of service, she has worked at Victoria Manor and in her current role as client service worker in human services, continues to provide valuable support to the community. Roger Goslin has served the community as a volunteer firefighter for 45 years, beginning his position in 1979. Roger currently serves in the role of volunteer fire captain. And then we have Wendy Ellis, who started as a library clerk with the County of Victoria in 1979. With 45 years service, she now serves as the executive assistant to the Director of Development Services. I think Wendy and Roger both started when they were about 5 years old. Let's all congratulate these folks on their long service. You have our thanks and our gratitude, all of the quarter century and onwards, for your dedicated service to the City of Kawartha Lakes, and we appreciate every minute that you stay with us. Thank you. I get a motion to receive the notice of long-term service. Councillor Warren, Councillor Richardson, all in favor? And that's passed. Could I also have a motion is there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on today's agenda? Seeing none, should any arise during the course of the meeting, advise the chair and we'll deal with it accordingly. We'll now move on to Paramedic Service Week and recognition of exemplary acts in the community. So I'd ask Jamie Golden to meet me at the podium down below.
Bottom or would you like? Where's Brian? What is this? Perfect. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamie Golden, and I'm one of the deputy chiefs with the paramedic service here in town. Every time at this time of year, we have the opportunity to celebrate paramedic profession for an entire week, as this runs this year from May 18th to the 24th. The theme for this year is We Care for Everyone, and this theme reflects the spirit of inclusivity that drives our paramedics' work. A part of our Paramedic Week celebrations typically includes a recognition and celebration of a successful outcome. These stories embrace all of the wonderful work of our paramedics that they do on a daily basis, the support that other agencies provide, and the community support that we receive daily. Today I will share a story, a very powerful story, that highlights the importance of what we call the chain of survival. The chain of survival is a sequence of interconnected actions that, when performed efficiently, maximize the chances of survival in situations like cardiac arrest. The interconnected actions are activating 911 or calling 911, fast, high-quality CPR, defibrillation, advanced resuscitation, and post-cardiac care and recovery. And think of a chains and a link of a chain. And if they're all interconnected, they all work together. So today's story surrounds a cardiac arrest that occurred on December 13th, 2024 at the Legion here in Lindsay. However, the beginning of our story actually takes place prior to this date, as the story begins with the Legion actually becoming one of our public access defibrillator sites and having individuals trained and made this device available in case of emergencies that we're going to talk about today. We would like to thank at this time the Legion for making sure their location is a pad site, and there's a few members here today that are showing their dedication to us, and then we thank you. On December 13th, back to my story, if those of you who don't know me, I do like to chat. On December 13th, a cardiac arrest did occur while visiting the Legion. There were family members and a couple of bystanders at the Legion that acted quickly by recognizing the emergency, calling 911, performing high-quality CPR, and applying a defibrillator. And those are the first three interconnected acts and actions that maximize the chance of survival for someone that's in cardiac arrest. At this same time, our ambulance communication officers were taking the call information, providing CPR instructions, making sure that defibrillator was attached, and ensuring that the appropriate resources were being dispatched to the scene. Not long after this, a paramedic acting as a first responder arrived and assisted with CPR and management of that defibrillator. A few minutes later, our paramedic crew, a paramedic supervisor, and the Kawartha Lakes Fire Rescue arrived, and advanced resuscitation measures were deployed. Yet again, another key interconnected action. The cardiac arrest was continued by the paramedic crew while transporting the patient to the hospital, where care was continued and ultimately led to a successful resuscitation. It is really an amazing story when you look back and highlight all of the people making all of the decisions that resulted in actions to maximize the survival of a person that was in cardiac arrest. Today, we're here to recognize the efforts of the individuals that made sure the chain of survival interconnected actions occurred, and we are truly grateful. At this time, I will call up individuals to recognize their efforts on December 13th. I will have each of you come up, receive your recognition, and we'll get a quick photo. So first, I would like to have our two bystanders that participated that day, both Dylan Ireland and John Ireland, please come forward.
Thank you so much. Dylan? John. Thanks, Doug. All right, let's just slide around the podium here. Yeah. All right. We'll probably have to get close.
No worries.
Great job, guys. 3, 2, 1, smile. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Next, I would ask that we have our two ambulance communication officers, Anna Charlton and Sydney Logwood, please come forward.
You. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 3, 2, 1. And just one more in case. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, if we could have the members from the Fire and Rescue come forward, please. We have Brandon Mitchell, Ryan Hurley, and Tyler Cayley.
I could read your name. Thank you. Thanks.
I'll do my best. All right, 3, 2, 1, and smile. Just one more, sorry. So sorry. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Thank you.
Next, I would like to have our first responder, who is Sarah Johnson, please come forward.
Perfect. 3, 2, 1. That's great. Thank you.
At this time also, I would like to acknowledge ACP Greg Donnan, PCP Chris Vandenberg, and our supervisor Jeff Mix. Unfortunately, they could not be here due to prior commitments, and we'll hopefully be able to catch up with them later this week at some of our events. Finally, at this time, I would like to welcome our survivor, Mel Schroeder, accompanied by her husband.
Three, 2, 1. Thank you so much.
Good.
Now, before we move forward with one large group photo, I would like to acknowledge also our Paramedic Service Honor Guard members that are here today, Brent Dixon and Pat Austin. Thank you, gentlemen, for volunteering your time to be here with us today.
Well, thank you, Deputy Chief Golden, for sharing this inspiring survival story. Reflects we care for everyone, reflects the compassion and inclusivity that define our city values. It highlights the remarkable skills of our paramedics and the courage of our community. As we close this recognition, both for Paramedic Service Week and the exemplary acts of the community, I extend my gratitude to everyone here. A heartfelt thanks to all of you, first responders and community members involved in the incident at the Legion. Your readiness to rise to the occasion resulted in saving a life, and today united our Kawartha Lakes community. Thank you all for the great job you do. Thank you for your service and for keeping us all safe.
Okay, very quickly at this time, I'm going to ask everybody that's in the seats just behind me if we could get everybody to go out to the front. We're going to get one group photo, and then we can wander upstairs and you can get back to the rest of council. Thank you very much, everybody.
So council will take 5 minutes while the photo's being taken. Okay. Can I have a motion to receive the Paramedic Service Week and the awards? Deputy Mayor McDonald, Councillor Ashmore, all in favor? And that's passed. Moving on, can I have a motion to receive and adopt the regular council meeting of April 22nd, 2025?
Do you want to do council and staff announcements?
Yes. You guys didn't have any announcements for today, did you? Sorry, we'll go back. Notices and information by members of council and staff. Councillor Warren.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. And my notification, I have two. The Government of Ontario has introduced Bill 5, Protecting Ontario by Unleashing Our Economy Act 2025, which proposes substantial changes to environmental planning legislation, including the repeal of the Endangered Species Act and the creation of so-called special economic zones that may override local planning authority. Bill 5, as proposed, risks weakening safeguards for Ontario's natural heritage and reducing the role of municipalities in managing growth in a responsible and locally informed manner. I urge the province of Ontario to advance housing and infrastructure growth through policies that respect sound environmental planning principles and uphold the planning tools available to local governments. And on a brighter note, I would like to invite everybody to the Spring Fling at Ken Reed this Saturday from 10 to 3. And this event is great for the whole family, and there are many games for kids, so come on out. Thank you. Rain or shine.
Thank you. Councillor Joyce.
We lost our connection to the...
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you. I've got a few notices here. First, I'm going to talk about the Macheek dinner that was actually held on May 10th that Deputy Mayor McDonald and I went to. And the Macheek dinner is been a cultural event for many, many years in Lindsay. Initially started by Tsering and Pencho Ragbi. And it celebrates the Tibetan culture worldwide and focuses on social and environmental issues in Tibet, which is today, they still call it a semi-autonomous region, but it's not much autonomy these days under the PRC clampdown there. But Tibet is the size of Western Europe, to give you a sense of the size. And this dinner is a charity going to good works, again, to celebrate Tibetans worldwide and their culture. As a side note here, the Ragbi family, their daughters Losang and Tashi, they started the Macheek organization located in Washington, D.C. They've all been awarded the Meritorious Service Cross by our Governor General of Canada. Looking ahead, we have...
Councillor Joyce, well, I think we lost our Zoom connection, but are we back?
We're back up.
Okay, continue, sorry.
Okay. Looking ahead, on June 7th, the Little Britain Community Association is having their second annual golf tournament at the Crestwood Golf Club. $100 per person. That includes 18 holes, cart, and dinner. And always a fun event. I encourage everybody there to attend. And I also have another event on June 7th. This is in Bobcaygeon, but the mayor asked me to talk to this because it's the Bobcaygeon Bike Fest and Fallen Riders. And for those of you that don't know, I've been riding a bike for over 50 years, and I fell on August 7th, 2024, and banged myself up pretty good. So I can relate to this, but the fallenriders.com is the organization, that's the website. It is a charity, and it goes to support bike riders who have had an accident. Bike Fest, I'll just read this here, is a pivotal community event that brings together motorcycle enthusiasts and the wider public to celebrate the spirit of riding while driving significant community engagement and support. At its core, Bike Fest is committed to providing aid and awareness for injured motorcycle riders, offering crucial support to help them on their road to recovery. Additionally, the event serves as a meaningful platform to honor and remember riders who have been lost, fostering a sense of unity and remembrance within this community. And this really hits home because we lost one of our own Saturday, May 10th in a terrible accident. Through Bike Fest, we aim to enhance the safety and awareness of motorcycle riding, advocate for the well-being of riders, and promoting responsible riding practices. And each year, the event garners extensive local participation and support. So anybody's looking to sponsor or participate, please go to that website, thefallenriders.com. They are looking for extra support and involvement. And I'm just going to add into that, you know, bikers today, they're your mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. It's everyday people who ride bikes, and distracted driving in intersections is where most of the accidents occur. So driving a car, just no more distracted driving, and be careful going through intersections. Look for those motorcycles. And this is Councillor Perry's favorite part on the library. This council meeting, I'd like to just highlight the library of things. Okay, and what is the library of things? It is the outdoor games, technology kits, children's toys, tools, and other items that support lifelong learning, family engagement, and equitable access to resources. So we're a lot more than about books. The library is evolving and responding to the needs of our community and helping residents access these items that they may only need occasionally or maybe can't afford to purchase. It helps remove barriers, sparks creativity. For example, families can borrow soccer nets, cornhole games for birthday parties, life jackets, snowshoes, bird watching kits, the list goes on. Lots of educational toys. It promotes inclusion, innovation, and for a small investment, makes a huge, big impact on our community. During the month of June, the library will be also hosting a series of events to celebrate Seniors Month. We have special CAP programs to take place at branches in Bobcaygeon, Lindsay, and our hosting representatives from the OPP will speak to seniors fraud awareness. That's a very important issue these days. We also have representatives from the Canadian Mental Health Association to offer presentations in Lindsay, Fenland Falls, and Bobcaygeon branches on managing stress, mental health enhancements for seniors. There's a way to stay healthy and connected to wellness as we age. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Doble.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm pleased to announce the 22nd annual Mark-a-thon. No, it's not about me. It's the Mark-a-thon Hero Walk on June the 21st. The Mark-a-thon Hero Walk is a 5K or 10K walk in support of a place called home and those experiencing homelessness in the city of Kawartha Lakes and the county of Haliburton. Enjoy walking with Mark Favang throughout the beautiful streets and parks of Lindsay and be part of a life-changing movement at the same time. Over the past 22 years, Mark has raised almost $100,000 for a place called home, and this year he's trying to raise $10,000. The event is pet-friendly and concludes at the Coach and Horses pub in Lindsay with a delicious celebratory barbecue. Walkers can register by making a $25 donation or by collecting pledges in support of the walk, and to register online, you may reach out to Jennifer Lipinski, the Fund Development Coordinator for a place called home, at jennifer@apch.ca.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Thank you. Through you. I just want to I attended the McHappy Day along with Mr. Mayor and Councillor Richardson on May 8th. McHappy Day is a long-standing Canadian tradition for more than 40 years. Lindsay and Beaverton locations raised over $27,000 this year for the Ronald McDonald House charity in Canada. So I'd like to thank Neil Batt for his continued support for the Canadian children and their families. Secondly, I also attended the 3rd Annual Business Hall of Fame. These remarkable individuals demonstrated unwavering commitment to our community, so congratulations to all, for all of them for their years and deserving inductees. And last but not least is I'd like to give a shout out to the Optimist Club for a cleanup day at Wilson's Fields and Optimist Soccer Field, getting ready for our great soccer season. So we have over 520 children playing soccer for the month of May and June, which is just amazing. So I'd like to, it's just wonderful to see these kids playing outside and having fun. So thanks to all the volunteers that helped make that happen, because it takes a lot of volunteers. So I'd like to thank them all. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, and through you. First of all, I want to congratulate the Bethany Athletic Society for hosting their annual May 2-4 weekend this past weekend. It's a 4-day event, and the dedication of these volunteers is unprecedented. The Bethany Park is not a municipal park, so the hours and time that this community puts into this park is outstanding, and it is an absolute gem. So if anybody's never seen it, drop by, because it's a pure example of what a community can do when they work together. I also want to bring everyone's attention that our jump-in site, we currently have our OPP, City of Kawartha Lakes Detachment Action Plan posted. We want to hear from our rural communities on what your priorities are, what your concerns are. It's a survey format with the opportunity to provide specific observations and issues. This feedback will help update the action plan of the City of Kawartha Lakes OPP Detachment Board. We want to hear from you. This actually closes on May 30th. And mark your calendars. The second annual Janetville Community is Saturday, June 21st. It's around the corner. The street is blocked off, live music, lots of things for the kids and adults. New this year is a classic car show. Still, it's a huge event for communities, so they are looking for volunteers. So just go to the Janetville Community Center social page to sign up. And just maybe one little note, today's recognition and presentation was absolutely incredible to see the folks in the Kawartha Lakes and our staff doing so many things. It's a way to reflect and remind us how much we love living here, working here, and playing here. So it just really resonated today. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to just remind the constituents of the storm debris cleanup. It's always still an ongoing exercise right now, and I wanted to thank the private contractors, our city staff, parks, community services, engineering, and public works. They're doing their best to get many of the piles of debris cleared up, and there's a little bit left, but they're working hard to get that done. So appreciate everybody who's been trying to get that completed. This coming May 31st, the Omemee Legion will be holding a spring barbecue. It's a fundraiser for the Omemee Legion, and if you've ever been by the Omemee Legion or you've ever been inside it lately, it's certainly been through a remarkable transformation, the Omemee Legion, and just an amazing organization with a lot of great volunteers working hard for that. I just want to thank Councillor Joyce for mentioning the fallen riders who will be at the Bowcaged Bike Fest on June 7th, and certainly we did have a tragedy, Karen, her name was, and who had passed away on that date that was mentioned. So the riders are very vulnerable on the highway, so watch out for them when you're on the road this year. I'd like to talk about a former councillor who passed away, Gerald McGregor. Gerald was a former councillor for Emily Township and for the City of Kawartha Lakes in Ward 15. Gerald was dedicated elected official for his community. He was a longtime Toronto Police Service employee, and Gerald passed away in the Ottawa area about a month or so ago, and just wanted to thank Gerald for all the many conversations we had and the input that he had for his community, especially in the Omemee area, Omemee and Emily Township area. He certainly was dedicated, him and his wife Barbara, and wanted to thank him for all his years of service. And I'd like to thank my colleague beside me here. Congratulations to Councillor Mark Doble for your election in Ward 5. I know you worked hard for your election campaigning, and I know you'll do an excellent job representing your constituents, so welcome to council. You've done a great job. And finally, I'd like to thank all the councillors here, the mayor, CAO, and staff for their support for the loss of our son Michael. My wife and I, Catherine, would like to thank everyone, the many people who reached out to us in the community, whether coming to visitations of the Stoddard Funeral Home or celebrations. The public support was nothing short of overwhelming and very humbling that the community came out for us. And I'll never forget that, and I really appreciate the support that everyone gave our family. So just wanted to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for that, and much appreciated. That's it for today. Thanks.
Thank you. Emmett, do you have anything?
No, I'm jumping in and out of here, out of connection here, so I don't have anything pertinent. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I got a couple of things. Childhood Apraxia. May 14th was Childhood Apraxia Awareness Day, a day to acknowledge and raise awareness for the many children who are affected by this speech disorder. Apraxia is a motor speech defect that limits the ability of children to form words in their mouths. Their brains cannot plan and coordinate the movements of their lips, tongue, and jaw. This can make it very difficult for them to speak and interact with other children. Intensive speech therapy and early diagnosis have proven invaluable in helping children make progress. In recognition of Childhood Apraxia Day, the lights at City Hall were changed to blue on the 14th of May, as our way of spreading awareness of this disorder and supporting those youth and the families as they navigate life with this diagnosis. I also like to bring you up to date that last week, CAO Taylor and I attended Queen's Park Day with the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus. There was started very early in the morning with a breakfast with MPPs and their staff and cabinet ministers. We were able to speak to and get in front of many of those ministers and bring the many issues we have here in Kawartha Lakes and in Eastern Ontario to their attention and to elicit their support and help in trying to manage these things. Towards the end of the day, the Premier spent an hour with the Wardens Caucus, and he had many questions and many things to say to them and to us about where we're going and the challenges ahead, and his eagerness to support the initiatives of the Wardens Caucus in Eastern Ontario and try and solve the problems that we have that are similar to our colleagues throughout Eastern Ontario. All in all, it was a very busy time, long day, and I think in the end, it was worthwhile in getting in front of these cabinet ministers and their staff and the and MPPs in general, and just letting them know who we are and the things we're dealing with. So just a brief update on that day. I think also last week we attended the groundbreaking for 113 townhomes that Flato is beginning over on the east side of Lindsay, and we look forward to those more, well, I think they're more affordable than some houses. I'm not sure they qualify as affordable housing, but they are not million-dollar homes in any case. So it was a good day, and there was a great turnout for it. And we congratulate Flato on moving forward with their development plans. And I think that's all I have for the moment. Is there anything from staff? Chief?
If I could, through you, Mr. Mayor, as you've seen a few minutes ago, our platoon chief, Tim Brazier, after his 35 years, is retiring at the end of the month. So I just want to say we have an open house next Wednesday at the fire station from 10 to 12. If anybody would like to drop in, it'd be appreciated. Maybe you'll have time to get his game back up to speed, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Could do. Okay. So we'll move on to deputations, which is item 6, and then I'm going to play with the agenda a little bit, if you don't mind, and do one thing in the correspondence, and then move to the presentation, because we got two high-priced and busy people sitting in the back there that need to get back to their jobs. So the first thing we'll do, Ms. Diane Kelleran, looking for reduction of truck traffic and traffic calming for speeding vehicles on Elgin Street. Ms. Kelleran, you have 5 minutes.
I won't take that long, but thank you. And thank you for letting me speak. So on behalf of the residents on Elgin Street, we just want some sort of recognition, something to be done about the truck traffic and the speeding. It's like they don't stop at the four-way stop like they were supposed to. They just slow down and go right through them. So, and I'm only talking about the ones on Elgin Street from Adelaide to Albert Street. I walk the town often, and I notice there is a lot of speeding going on everywhere, but it's like a highway outside of our road. So I just want people to be aware of it. All the residents on Elgin signed the petition that we request something to be done. Some of the things I said was like speed bumps, slow people down, speed humps, something like that. Electronic signing to say, slow down, this is your speed. Monitoring. And I noticed in town, as I walk through town, there's tons of signs that say no trucks. I don't know why we don't have one at the end of our street. They do at the other end, but not at the beginning part of Adelaide to Albert. So but as I walk through town, I notice more and more going up. So that would be appreciated too. I know we can't reduce or eliminate every truck in town, but we could definitely slow it down. So that's just something that our residents on our street would like you to be aware of and to maybe come up with some good answers for us.
Thank you. If you just stay there for a minute, in case council has some questions. First of all, I'll get a motion to receive the deputation. Councillor Doble, Deputy Mayor McDonald. Questions? Councillor Doble.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion that the deputation be received and that the matter be referred to staff. I would note that we have, I believe the petition is later on in the agenda. In addition to that, there is a correspondence from another resident on Elgin Street raising very similar concerns. And I don't know, but staff may want to respond to these all at the same time. That they may or may not, I don't know. But I'd like to see this referred to staff. I don't mind saying, in a recent article in the newspaper, I was asked what the biggest issue that I encountered when I was out campaigning in February and March, and unquestionably it's speeding. And I was told that would be the issue by other councillors, and I know that I'm not alone. So this is a big issue.
Right now, do you have a question for the deputy?
No, I do not. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And what I'm going to suggest about your motion, we wait until we get to the petition, and we wrap everything together and refer it to staff.
I'm
Are
fine
you good with that?
Absolutely.
Good. Any other questions of the deputy?
I would like to say something else. I only solicited my section of the street, but I'm more than willing to solicit the town, just to say.
Thank you. Okay. No other questions? I have a motion. We have a motion. All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you very much for coming today, and your issue will be dealt with and referred to staff. Okay? Thank you. What we're going to do item 7.2, which is a request for a parking area and crosswalk lines in Kirkfield, and is part of correspondence. So I need a motion to receive it, and I believe Councillor Yeo is going to refer it to Community Services staff. So Councillor Yeo has moved it. Can I have a seconder to that? Councillor Warren, any comments or questions on that correspondence? Go ahead, Councillor Yeo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just briefly, there's a long story behind the intersection in question here, and there's some beliefs, some untruths, some miscommunications. What it boils down to is we need to get some parking as a safety reason, and while we're doing that, some crosswalk lines and stuff to make that intersection more safe in Kirkfield, and get this whole intersection looked after and safe again. So I appreciate the support in getting a report back this fall and get this looked after, hopefully before winter, so we're not in the same jam we were last winter. Thank you.
So would your motion be that it be referred to staff and action be taken, or staff report back by the end of the third quarter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that's passed. Councillor Doval, did you wish? Thank you. So now we'll move on. We'll come back to correspondence after, but I think, if you don't mind, we will go to a presentation on after-hours care presentation by Andrew Vale of the Kawartha Lakes Healthcare Initiative and Dr. Paul of the Kawartha Lakes Family Health Team. Welcome, folks, and you're up.
Has to talk. Look at that. Hopefully I won't be too long. I apologize for my verbosity. Thank you, Mayor Elmsley and Council, for having us provide an update on the physician retention partnership that we made with the city, specifically as it relates to the Family Health Organization, which I'm a part of. In the interest of accountability, today we're going to provide a report on how we spent the funds that were granted to us in June of 2024. And through Mr. Vale, we circulated a more in-depth review for your perusal. For context, the reason this came about is multifactorial. The lack of access to primary care in the community has resulted in some pretty pretty mismatched patchwork solutions when it comes to urgent settings and urgent care provided in the Kawarthas. Our after-hours clinic in the city of Kawartha Lakes, the one provided by the Family Health Organization, is unique. It's staffed by our physicians, but it's not restricted to those patients that we roster to ourselves. We see patients from other primary care groups, those with primary care physicians outside of the area, as well as those that are completely unattached to primary care. The sustainability of the clinic was greatly under question last year, especially around the summer. The funding at that time was shared amongst the faux physicians, and our manpower had significantly reduced and our costs had increased. So we approached Kawartha Lakes Healthcare Initiative, which, having consulted with us, then took us to the city to request financial support for the clinic itself. We were provided at that time with $36,000 per month for a total period of 6 months, and we first received that in October 2024. At that time, the group increased secretarial hours. We actually increased the hours starting August 2024 in advance of the funds flowing. We also reopened the after-hour clinic on Fridays. We had stopped hosting those days due to manpower issues and funding issues. And then in October, we added more hours on Thursdays as well. So in essence, from June to now, we've increased the total physician service hours that we provide to 32 hours, down from 26 where we started. If you reflect back on what we're actually required to provide for the ministry as faux physicians, we at minimum need to provide 21 hours of our time to take care of our own rostered patients only. General funding and provincial updates since that time period. The provincial government, re-elected, has indicated increased funding for primary care is a priority for them. And in May, they asked for proposals to be submitted through the Ontario Health Team. The faux physicians participated in submission of this proposal. Unfortunately, they did not request specific faux-related or after-hours programs. It was to bolster the already existing teams, and so we worked with Kawartha Lakes Family Health Team as well as the CHC to apply for increased funding. And we're going to continue to do our best to advocate at the municipal, regional, and provincial level to increase primary care services in our community. Locally in 2025, in March, we met with representatives of all the primary care physician remuneration models with Mayor Elmsley as well as council members here in council chambers. At that time, we discussed physician retention and the issues we've been facing. It was clear then that the full physicians, the family health organizing physicians, have unique perspectives and are facing time-sensitive issues when it comes to sustainability. As a retention update, we continue to struggle, and we are going to go down by another member in the next few months. And so that leaves another 2,000 patients that are unable to be serviced with primary care. We're hoping that we can look forward to further conversations, and in the interim, we think that continuing the funding for the after-hours clinic will be a welcome reprieve for the members of the family health organization that remain. So in essence, we're asking the city for ongoing funding, and the amount is less than we asked for before. We're asking for $25,000 per month for 12 months. The reason is because we, as a FO, discussed that we need to be accountable not only to the city for their funds, but also to the ministry for our mandatory hours. So we as a group have decided to cover the hours that are the 21 that we have to provide for the ministry. We felt strongly that we needed to do this, so we share that cost, and so we've had an overage for the last little while, which we've been dipping into to pay for the last 2 months. So we hope that the city can provide us with this $25,000 per month for the next 12 months if they feel that it is a reasonable thing to give. We'll use the funds to keep the after-hours clinic functioning as it currently stands. And we hope to continue to engage with the city with respect to physician retention. And in the next year, hopefully we'll have a better understanding of the direction that the ministry will be heading, as well as what they're doing as far as after-hours care. Thanks. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you. Mr. Vail, did you wish to say anything on behalf of Kawartha Lakes Healthcare?
No, I'm just here for moral support.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. You are asking for the funding for the next 12 months, and I'll remind council we did put money into a reserve when we did the budget last year, so that those funds are available if it is your wish. And I believe Councillor Richardson, you have a motion?
I do, but maybe if I can just ask a question before to the deputants. Thank you very much. Looking through your report today, you clearly can see the difference that it did provide to our community. Just in layman's terms, how, as you being a doctor, what did you see the difference between before and now with that additional funding from the city? If you could just possibly comment.
Sure. Before the funding was released, our discussions were closing the after-hours clinic. So what would have happened, at least closing to a non-rostered patients. So our patients seen would have gone from 4,000 annually to probably around 2,000 annually, and restricted only to our own patients. The funding helped us retain physicians that are helping us cover those clinics as well, because on top of running full practices and doing other things, it's been difficult for each of the dwindling number of FODOCs to provide the services that we do. So it kind of twofold. It helped our manpower issue a little bit, and then it's also keeping those non-rostered patients having a place to be seen, at least. That's not the emergency department.
So basically, the investment has built a framework to actually help with those non-registered patients, which we often hear from as counselors, you know, looking to fill the gaps. So it sounds like a good news story, and I mean, we'll open it for questions, but I certainly will move to receive the presentation, and I do have a resolution to follow up.
I have a couple of more people who want to speak. I did want to say on behalf of to Mr. Vail, if we go this route, we will also be providing funding through your organization for Kawartha North Family Health Team as well, but they need to come and make a similar deputation as to the use of the monies they were provided last year. So we'll be going down that road. Councillor Warren.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for everything you do. Just a couple questions. Do you service patients outside City of Kawartha Lakes?
So we don't restrict the access to the after-hours clinic. Not a lot, but a number of the postal codes we see are not necessarily K postal codes. People who come up visiting while they're at cottages, we see those as well. Sometimes from Peterborough, it really depends. Because we are unique and we don't restrict, I think word gets out. And so we do see some patients that are not our city patients.
Do you have like a percentage, or have you gone that far drilling down into that?
I would not even hazard a guess. No, I'm not going to hazard a guess because it'll be a lie, but it's not the majority. The majority of what we see, half and half, is like our own rostered patients versus non-rostered, and of the non-rostered, the majority are still of the City of Kawartha Lakes.
I think if I could just add to the other part of that is an individual that has a cottage in Kawartha Lakes would use their home address, right? So a good percentage of those outside of Kawartha Lakes addresses chances are a cottager going by with the address that's on their health card, right?
Just going forward, through you, Mr. Mayor, that it might be a good thing to actually do some digging into that, so we have those numbers. You don't want to put off cottagers for sure, but it'd be nice to know that. Thank you.
And we have the data, we have been collecting it. I just was the one that put the report together, and I was too lazy to do that work, to be honest.
Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank Andrew for his work in the Kawartha Lakes Healthcare Initiative, and Dr. Paul there for your work in the Kawartha Lakes Family Health Team. I just have two questions. Well, one of them was similar to what we do here in the city of Kingston. They have what they call a primary care clinic expansion grant. Is that something that you would equate what we do here? Because in that case, City of Kingston or County of Frontenac, two counties, Frontenac North and Frontenac, that supply this grant and to the group to recruit more physicians. Is this similar to what Kingston is doing? And they've been quite successful in getting recruiting doctors.
So yes, it would be the same idea. They call it a grant, whereas here it's budgeted for, and KLHCI on every doctor recruitment requests the return of service funds for those physicians. It's just a different process, but the same game.
All right, thanks. And secondly, one of the main driving factors in patients not having a doctor is when a doctor closes their practice and works for either different reasons. Either they retire, I mean, I'm sure, it's a stressful job, or the other thing is they will do it sometimes relatively on a short, not give much notice. And many patients, there are thousands, if not millions of patients who are, and the word is orphaned. That really puts a strain on the system, because that's what's really causing a lot of the issue. with all these patients that are let go. If you equate that to, say, someone who is a teacher who quits one day, they've had enough, I'm leaving, I hope they don't, but I'm just equating to that. And then the school board has a backup plan, as an example, where they'll have a teacher come in and they'll take over that class. So we don't have that type of a system where when a doctor says they're going to up and go work in a hospital or a clinic and they're going to leave the patients, that another doctor will come in and look after those clinics, so or look after those patients. So those patients are left to basically fend for themselves or look for another doctor. Like, how do we encourage doctors to not do that? Because, you know, that's what's causing a lot of this issue.
So I think doctors do have that system, right? Right now, there are doctors, and it's called locums, that come and fill a doctor's position when they're on vacation or if they're closing their practice for a period of time. The thing to remember, though, right, is those doctors that are locuming either also have their own practice or are looking for their own practice to start up. The issue at the end of the day is not doctors retiring. Unlike teachers, there's lots of people going through teachers college and coming out, right? More teachers looking for teaching jobs than there are jobs available. Unfortunately, it's the opposite in the medical field, right? Where there are more jobs and there are more practices available than there are doctors. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Dr. Paul?
No, I think that's adequate. It's a systemic issue and not having enough manpower to fill the gaps that are there. And part of it is going to be the province's responsibility to restructure how they're disseminating these resources.
Thank you. Councillor Joyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you, I just want to, Councillor Warren was spot on from my point of view as well. Just my interest is, back to the data, is the before and after, and more specifically on the unrostered local patients. Have we moved the needle there? And I fully recognize you can't discriminate it when they walk in the door, I get that. But if we are accommodating more and more non-rostered patients, that's the highest need in the local area. Thank you.
And I can probably speak to that with more data. I think some of it too is having just started the influx of funds as of October, and then me having things up until basically February, like actually in our books. The next 3 to 6 months, I'll have more information about where things are as far as numbers.
But I think it's safe to say that the needle has moved. Like if you look at the data that Dr. Paul's provided or whatever, right? You can see that the number of patients being turned away from 23 to 24 and 25 is drastically down, right? In 23, they were turning away between 400 and 500 patients, right? That's down to below 20, right? So everything being equal, you know, there's unrostered patients as part of that percentage, right?
Thank you. Go back to you, Councillor Richardson.
Thank you. I'll move to receive the presentation, so if I can have a seconder for that.
Deputy Mayor McDonald.
And the follow-up resolution at this time would be to fund the ask today of the $25,000 per month from the Primary Care Recruitment and Retention Reserve to May 2026 with an update from the Kawartha Lakes Healthcare Initiative as a result of this ongoing commitment. Do I have a seconder?
You seconding that? You're seconding the whole thing? Okay. Questions or comments? Council, Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Yeah, through you. I got a couple of comments. If you look at the stats, back in 2023, we turned away 147 people. 2024, only 3, and then so far this year we haven't turned anyone. And back to the people that are non-residents, you got to remember that people have cottages up here, and they come and they pay taxes in the city of Kawartha Lakes, and they deserve and they are entitled to have care also. So keeping that in mind, I think it's a great program, and we need after-hours clinic. It's very important for our safety for our people that live here. Thanks.
Thank you. Seeing nothing else, we have a mover and seconder. All in favor? All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for the update. And the motion is that funding at the level of $25,000 will continue until the end of May 2026, at which time we will welcome you back to give us another update.
Thank you so much for your investment.
Thank you. Okay, moving backwards in the agenda, we'll go back to correspondence, item 7.1.
We haven't done the minutes yet. We haven't done the minutes?
Oh,
Number 5?
yeah, we did.
Did we? No, we didn't.
I need a motion for the minutes of the regular council meeting, which I thought I'd already done. I have a mover and a seconder. Councillor Doble, Councillor Ashmore, all in favor, and that's passed. Now on to correspondence. Item 7.1 is, what? Item 7.1, City of Kawartha Lakes Integrity Commissioner Annual Report for the operating period of February 28, 2024 to February 27th of 2025. Can I have a motion that that be received? Councillor Warren, seconded by Deputy Mayor McDonald. Questions, comments on? Seeing none? All in favor? And that's passed. We already did 7.2, which was the request for a parking area and crosswalk lines in Kirkfield, and that's been referred to Community Services. 7.3, Encampment Supports and Response Protocol, Mr. Randy Neals. Can I have a motion that this be received? Councillor Doble, do you wish to speak to it? Let's get a seconder first. Councillor Warren, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I have met with Mr. Neals, and as we may be aware, he's written several letters to the city. There was another letter that he wrote regarding encampments that was addressed, that was, I believe, sent to him from the bylaw office and today, but this letter is different. I just recommend that we receive this motion. I've been speaking with Human Services on this, and I'd like to report back to Mr. Neals personally.
The motion is just to receive.
Yes.
So we have a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that passes. Our next piece of correspondence is traffic volume and excessive speed on Elgin Street relating to item 12.2 on the agenda. And that again is Mr. Neals. And I would suggest we just receive this and we lump it with the petition back to staff. Okay? So a motion to receive. Councillor Doble, seconder. Councillor Warren. All in favor? Gonna have to be faster, Councillor Joyce. And item 7.5 is correspondence requesting that Armstrong Court and McGill Drive, former township of Manvers, be repaved. That the correspondence from Brenda Parody of Sandalwood Estates Cottagers Association regarding a request for Armstrong Court and McGill Drive, former township of Mariposa, be repaved, be received. Is there anyone who wants to make that motion? Deputy Mayor McDonald. Councillor Richardson. Are we just receiving?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think later on 12.4 might address some of those issues. So, thank you.
Okay. All in favor? And that's done. We've already done 8.1, which was the after-hours care presentation. Move to item 9, Committee of the Whole. And we have that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of May 6, 2025 be received, and the recommendations included in section 9.3 of the agenda be adopted, save and accept 931, 936, 937, and 938. Could I have a motion for that, please? Councillor Perry, Councillor Joyce. All in favor? Fine. That's done. 931 is Deputy Mayor McDonald's.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to receive this report and send it back to staff for a report at the next council meeting.
Do you have a seconder for that? Councillor Joyce. You wish to speak to it?
No, I think we'll just wait for the report to come back and give us an update on that.
Okay.
Thanks.
What's the timing on that to report back? July?
Yeah, July would be fine.
July council meeting.
Yep.
Gil? All in favor? And that's passed. Next one is item 936, and that's the Life Cycle Management Capital Program. Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of questions through you to Director Rojas, and he's answered some of my questions. One of the questions was on back on table 4, and this would be in the committee of the whole notes. I'm looking at asphalt rejuvenation, and there were two roads that are listed there. And my question is, we did these roads not even 2 years ago, but now we're doing asphalt rejuvenation. Just wondering, has there been an issue with these, with County Road 10, which is Centerline Road, and County Road 17, which is Pigeon Lake Road, and those on that one section of County Road 17, why we go back only 2 years afterwards, 24 months, and we have to rejuvenate the road again?
Director.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. So the asphalt rejuvenation program is keeping our good roads good. So it's anywhere between 2 and 5 years is the ideal time when you want to rejuvenate the road. It's a very low cost, extremely low cost to do it. They spray it with an emulsion, and it's done real quickly. So it's part of our Keeping Our Good Roads Good program, very, very low and inexpensive. And you want to rejuvenate the AC, or the asphalt cement content of those roads, a couple years, 2 to 5 years after you've repaved them. So that's the ideal candidate. That's the ideal time to rejuvenate those roads. You spend a little bit of money now, but it rejuvenates the AC to last a lot longer.
Okay, thanks. And just maybe a couple of comments. And I'm not proposing any changes or anything like that. It's fine. Just I think I'm a member, so is Councillor Perry and Warren and Councillor Doble of the Roads Task Force, and we talk about how we work together, Public Works and engineering and council. But I think, you know, I'll give you an example. When we did a life cycle extension, Mr. Mayor, your deputy mayor at the time, 2019, he came out with me to a place called McGregor Drive, which is just south of Bobcaygeon. And it was a prime example of how life cycle extension, which is what it was called back then, works, and it does work. But that was 2019, so that's actually 7 calendar years ago, and actually you could add another calendar year because it was budgeted the year before. So you're looking at 8 calendar years, and the theory with life cycle extension is that you want to have it done within, I don't know, 3 years, 3 or 4 years at most. You want to complete that road. I'll give you an example of St. Luke's Road east of Downeyville. That was completed. It was done sort of like textbook. It was done in sections of life cycle improvement, and then we finished it off. But I just think that we should really, I've proposed doing roads tours, not all of us, just 1 or 2 counselors at a time with staff. I think it's really good if we could, bring that back up again. I think it'd be a good idea because, you get the reports, and I know all these roads need to be done. But it would be good if we could just sort of get a heads up from staff saying, we got a report coming in next month and this X, Y, and Z road's going to be on. What do you think? That's all I'm asking for. So I'm kind of would like to see that happen. Now, we discussed, I think it was back in late fall when we were at one of our meetings here for the Roads Task Force, and I asked, well, we found out that there was an extensive roads database of each road in City Kawartha Lakes, which is great. And we asked, three of us asked, can we have access to it? Can we go into a skiff and look at it, I mean, it would be great if we had that knowledge, but we were told that we're not. But then when I looked up under the Municipal Act, it says, under the Municipal Act, municipal councils in Ontario typically have access to information databases related to roads. This access is generally necessary for them to fulfill their responsibility related to road planning, maintenance, and management. So in other words, we really should have access to that database, and not public access, but as we represent people here, the 9 of us, and our director, CAO, we should have access to that because it's really important that we have that information when we make decisions. Those are just my thoughts. So I think we should be doing that from now on. There should be a three-way partnership because Public Works are the ones that scout these roads, and then they tell engineering. Engineering does scouting as well, but councilors really don't get much input into the whole process. That's my opinion, but I can't speak for everybody else, but I just think that we should be more involved in the decision making about these roads that get put on that list, because I've given you examples of some lists of kind of, for lack of better words, slipped through the cracks. But so going forward, I think we should maybe work more as a team, the three of us, Public Works, Engineering, and Council, to make these decisions for the roads. So I'll put that out there.
I think what we can do is it can be a recommendation coming out of the Roads Task Force as one of their recommendations going forward to work with and improve the system for finding roads and how they get attended to. Are you good with that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Or should I propose?
Well,
a
we can
motion
do
to
it. We can do it at the Roads Task Force. I'm sure the chair of the Roads Task Force would be amenable to that being a recommendation coming forward.
Thanks for that, Mayor. And yes, let's do that at the Roads Task Force.
We've
certainly missed Councillor Ashmore in his chair the past few months. And we will certainly be catching up with his input and his recommendations as we work together on that task force to provide our report and recommendations back to Council. That said, I do have a resolution here on
Councillor Ashmore extracted it. We need to clean up some of the language that was passed, that came forward at the Committee of the Whole meeting. So can I read into the record what it should be? And if you're comfortable, you can move that. And Councillor Perry, I think, would second it. So it's that report ENG 2025-015, 2025 Life Cycle Management Capital Program be received, that the budget of capital project 983250604, local asphalt paving, be increased by $2 million to accommodate the road segments identified in Table 7 of Report ENG 2025-015, save and except for Ski View Drive, with the budget increase financed by $1.8 million from the Canada Community Building Fund Reserve 3.24110 and up to $200,000 from the Capital Contingency Reserve 1.32248 A412430 and that Sturgeon Glen Road in its entirety and Slalom Drive be included in Table 7 of Report ENG 2025-015 and completed using existing 2025 tenders. Are you good with that? Yeah. Councillor Perry, you're seconding that?
Pleased to second that, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in on this? Okay. All in favor? And that's passed. Item 937 is mine, and again, it's just a cleanup of what we did at Committee of the Whole, and I'll read the item that the budget of capital project 9832503 urban arterial resurfacing be increased by $300,000 to accommodate Ken Scott Crescent and Thorndike Drive, with the budget increase financed by $300,000 from the Capital Contingency Reserve 1.32248 A412430, and that these road segments be funded by existing 2025 tenders. I have a motion for that. Councillor Joyce and Councillor Doble, all in favor? And that's passed. And finally, 938.
No change required. But still
No
have-
change required?
No change, but you still have to have a mover and seconder.
Okay, I need a mover and seconder that the budget of capital project 9832505 gravel resurfacing utilize the existing contingency fund to accommodate the Hemlock Road segment and that the existing tenders be utilized to implement this road segment. So can I have a mover and seconder for that? Deputy Mayor McDonald, seconder. Councillor Richardson, all in favor? And we're done with that. Just moving right along here. Next up is Planning Advisory Committee. Can I have a motion that the minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of May 7th, 2025 be received and that the recommendations included in section 10.3 of the agenda be adopted? Councillor Richardson, Councillor Warren. Comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's passed. Moving on to item 11, we have consent matters, and I believe Deputy Mayor McDonald has that. Do you have the extractions?
Yes, I do, through you. That the proposed resolution shown in section 11.1 of the agenda be approved and adopted by council in order that they appear in the agenda sequentially numbered, save and except for item 11.1.3, 11.1.5, and 11.1.9. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Richardson.
Thank you. Everybody okay with that? All in favor? And that's done. First extraction, 1113, single source supply and delivery of streetlights is yours, Councillor Joyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had concerns with a single source with renewable contracts over a 4-year period. Do we have mechanisms in place to keep a lid on unexpected increase in costs? We do. I'm fully satisfied how staff explained those internal mechanisms, so I move it as printed.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Warren. All in favor? And that's passed. Next extraction is 1115, which is a partnership agreement with Kawartha ATV Association. Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. I will move it as printed. I just have a couple of questions and comments, if that's okay. One being that recognizing that we have a partnership agreement with the Kawartha ATV Association they've had a long-term partnership that hasn't been with a formal agreement. Recognizing that this is that formal agreement with 5 years, just a couple questions that when you talk about the language in there about if we don't use all the funding for a year being put into the Forest and Trail Reserve, my concern is, $75,000, $90,000 doesn't really go a long way in today's time. So I would be more concerned of, we've got the money, let's use it yearly to make sure that we don't have those issues, right? Stay on top of, the more trails you have, the more maintenance you have, the more we stay up on top of those. And just reading through this too, I'm wondering if we will be addressing other user groups, such as the Snowmobile Club, to see, if they're using our trails too, should they not be providing some type of financial accountability, so to speak, in helping our trails maintained. So just maybe a couple comments, if you don't mind.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor, as far as the identifying the reserve for any funds that may be remaining, it was more just as a precautionary measure to, if there is a year that we actually have any funding remaining, we just wanted to have a plan in place to how that should be accounted for. I agree with you, there's not likely going to be a year that we don't spend out the full contribution by CATFA, so that was just purely precautionary. Secondly, yes, we will be working with and contacting other user groups that utilize the trail and starting discussions on formalizing agreements.
Thank you, and I think it is a good news story, recognizing that partnerships within the city of Kawartha Lakes, this is a huge component of our tourism, and for those folks that are using the trails are also reinvesting in our trails, so thank you.
Councillor Warren?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just on that, a question. What user groups are you going to reach out to? Green Trails Alliance or Article, or what groups actually, besides snowmobiling?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor, certainly the Snowmobile Club is the Ontario Snowmobile Federation we will be reaching out to, as well as there is a listing within the Trails Master Plan update of our partners with the trail. So we will be reaching out to those. Some may just be agreements where it's an in-kind contribution. We may not have that financial attachment to it, but just for anyone that is exclusively, for example, the Snowmobile Club and the ATV Association charge a membership fee to be able to utilize the trail. So for those types of user groups, those will be first on our list to contact.
I guess what I'm trying to get at, are there other non-motorized groups that you're going to reach out to? Because it's a mixed-use trail. That's my concern of actually going forward and making this, a 5-year program without input from other user groups.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So as far as non-motorized user groups, there are not many that charge a membership fee for use of the trail. So there are certainly lots of groups that are coordinated and that utilize the trail, but at no charge to their membership. So for those groups, they would be really not on our list to reach out to. Not suggesting that those like a Green Trails Alliance that does have a membership program doesn't mean that we would be looking to financially, it wouldn't necessarily be the same type of agreement that we would reach out to those groups to establish. It could be, it could go in a different direction, but that is really how we would determine what groups we would reach out to, is if they are charging a membership fee for use of the trail itself.
That's open to everybody.
It is open to everyone. With CATFA, you require a membership to purchase from them in order to access the trail and to use the trail.
Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Yeah, thank you, through you. Just a couple of comments about what this club actually does. You know, they confirm that everybody has passes, which I understand we probably keep track of that also for the dollar amounts that people use for that. And also, they've also been sworn in by officers to give tickets out. So my one question there is, do we get that money, for one thing? And again, these are volunteers and so on, and they do a lot of work, and they make money, and they keep the trails great. So I think it's a great concept.
Thank you. Councillor Noble.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I guess my concern is, what steps are we taking to ensure that one particular user group doesn't have a disproportionate level of influence or a disproportionate level of consideration as we move forward in terms of, if we were to do a review of this in the next 5 to 10 years, then you've got one user, and I don't deny that there's some great benefits here, and the city is the recipient of those benefits. My concern is that we become almost at an uneven level of balance here in terms of the influence that one particular user group may have on this. And is there language in the agreement, or do you have thoughts on how you're going to ensure that other user groups who may or may not contribute as much to the process and the ongoing maintenance as CATFA does get an equal voice at the table?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. Yes, we do. We have a program in place, and it was identified within the Trails Master Plan update, where annually or biannually, depending on the level of connection and relationship with the user group, that we meet with those user groups to discuss education, enforcement, concerns that they may have. So that is kicking off this year in 2025. So I suspect, and the intention is through those meetings, there will be collaboration and information exchanged as far as what those groups may be experiencing, and some concerns and things that they may want to make sure are addressed. So as far as the opportunity to have that discussion, we are certainly open to that, and we'll be scheduling those regular meetings over the next couple quarters.
Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Yeah, through you again. I had a question, and I think manager was going to answer my question, but my question was the ticket dollars and the dollars for trail passes.
Yeah. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. So those enforcement tickets that are charged by the volunteer bylaw officers are treated just like a regular revenue. So it comes in through to the city. The volunteer efforts, I agree with all the comments around the table about the partnership and the volunteer efforts and the in-kind support that we have received from CATFA. It has been, it's been a wonderful relationship, and really this agreement just simply formalizes what's in place, and both the executive for CATFA and staff feel that it's really necessary. There's nothing that's happened that has been from either side saying we need to get this in place because something's happened. It's just we want to formalize it so that it can be used as a planning document for both sides. So as far as the tickets, yes, we are aware of through Aaron Sloan and his team. Certainly they're aware of what the enforcement that takes place and the number of tickets that come in through that group and the revenue that's associated with that. Did I get both? Did I answer both? Okay.
Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you. Through you to Director Johnson. Just a question on, for example, like Dunsford has a nature trail, and it's a nature trail. It's a nice trail, but you do get a bit of damage from the ATVs and the dirt bikes and whatnot. Like, would this fund help? But we don't know who damages it. But I know that prior to this agreement, we had like the city of Kawartha Lakes would actually pay for the base, and because there were places where the base needed to be replaced and the signs had to be replaced, which they were, which is better. But what happens when something like that happens, whereby we don't know whether they're users or they're licensed users that go on those nature trails, which aren't designed to be, they're nature trails, to be primarily just for people to walk on from point A to point B. What happens there, because we're involved with that, are we not, with the city?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor. So maintenance on those types of trails that may not be right on the Victoria Rail Trail or within the Somerville Forest Tract, that would be captured through our annual budget for trail maintenance. So this really doesn't impact those types of maintenance on that type of trail, that maintenance practice.
So, somebody making a motion? Go ahead.
Move it as printed.
Gil, seconder. Councillor McDonald, Deputy Mayor McDonald. All in favor? And that passes. And I think our last deputation, 1119, the Canada and Ontario Housing Benefit Program, Councillor Perry.
Yes, this was my issue. Thank you very much, Mayor. The one I'd requested that questions be brought back, answers rather, to some questions that I at least consider to be outstanding with information, and I appreciate the promptness with which replies were returned for council's consideration. I certainly learned what I was looking for, particularly in the answer to question 1, that the fact was that were persons with disabilities to be prioritized anew, that could require redistribution among existing participants. Hence, to keep the levels at where they were for all, that could require the tax levy. So thank you for that understanding and that explanation of the implication of more funds being needed and how. I could glean from responses 2 and 3 that more time would be needed to go through and find what other municipalities are doing, and also an ethics review of would we need to solicit everyone's level of ability in the program to be able to move forward, or grandfather people in, or having to do it retroactively. It would be nice if those responses and activities were a little further down the road. They're not, and this program expires in March of next year, as we know. So with that timing, my motion will be that we receive the replies for information, receive the report back with the replies, and we look forward to, I've spoken and had communications with the deputant, Diane Engelstad, also with Teresa Jordan from Community Living, and we look forward to building on this information and this notion of prioritizing persons living with disabilities in housing initiatives moving forward with the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Warren.
And I'll second that, and I guess I'll just, because I extracted that also. I guess when looking through this, and I'm thinking of the council prior in 2020, and I just had a question whether or not staff at that time, I don't know if you'd be able to tell me this actually, but something to look at. Did staff look at other groups, such as people living with disabilities, when they were preparing the report to council in 2020? So I'm just not sure if that was on anybody's radar. So going forward, I'd really like to see that, and I'm really happy that in that recommendation resolution that a letter is going to the province looking for more funding, because I think it's really, really important these days to have housing funding for people of all challenged groups. Another question, are there people with disabilities living in encampments now? That was another thing. And going forward, I look forward to having a further report down the line, what other municipalities are doing besides just Ottawa, because I just did a quick glean and I thought I saw quite a few. So thank you. That's my question and my concerns, but I'm really happy that a letter's going out to ask for more funding, because we certainly need it. Thank you.
Director?
Yes, and through you to both Councillor Warren and Councillor Perry. So maybe following up on that, certainly Councillor Warren, I was not here in 2020, as you alluded to as well. However, when program guidelines come out like this that are that robust, people with disabilities was actually noted within those program guidelines, as we had appended in our reports as well. So given the needs assessment that was done, it certainly would have been reviewed at that time. I can have that confirmed, but given the guidelines, we have to follow the program guidelines when they come out, and based on the local data, as that report stated, those 3 priority populations came forward based on the local needs. And as I alluded to in this last report, we have just done, again, another further needs assessment, so that housing and homelessness plan that will come back to you in a couple months will actually provide you with that local data on kind of where we are sitting with people, not only in encampments, to your question, but also around the needs for housing on the wait list. So to your second point around the letter, yes, the letter has gone. That was gone probably about a month ago at the council meeting. We have not heard anything at this time, so that's a status update on the letter that went off. And we have been in contact with Teresa from the Community Living Association as well, given Councillor Perry's noted conversation with her as of recent as well. And yes, as our first report did state, that this benefit already supports people with disabilities, because those that are living in encampments and without shelter have a myriad of complexities and health issues, of which are their self-disclosed disabilities. And so given the research for the other municipalities, to your last point, I also conducted a research, as I did say in my report. However, when you dig into the specific details within the actual service manager sites and the DSABs, it's hard to find whether that COB benefit actually supports people with disabilities, or it even in some cases a prioritized listing. And for Niagara's case, it's the bottom, it's their 5th priority. So they actually fund, if you're homeless first, you get that funding. If you then are a senior, you get that funding. If you're a person with disability and they still have funding, they then may fund a person with disability. So those are just my comments to Councillor Warren's.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I got a comment and then a question for Councillor Perry. The question I got with Councillor Perry is that you have a motion, but I'm not really quite sure what that motion was, if we could read it again. And then my comment is that we as council already approved our 3 top items was domestic violence and human trafficking and homeless and seniors. There's not a lot of money there. Council did already approve that though, so not us, but it was already approved. So if we want, we can change that, I guess, if we go forward. But there's hardly any money there anyway to start off with. So, you know, when you have a little bit of money and you put more people into it, then everybody gets less and doesn't do any good for anybody. But anyway, back to your motion. Could you repeat that, please?
Sure, no problem. And yeah, it seems a little more difficult than anticipated in adding persons with disabilities to the list of priorities. However, again, we'll build on our experience to date and the commitments that I know are around the table to ensure that, you know, those, you know, vulnerable folks living with persons living with disabilities are indeed a priority for not just housing, but other social benefits that we offer. The motion at this point is simply to, or maybe I don't need a motion, maybe it's simply to, if it's going to be received as it's received as printed. So yeah, that's procedurally up to you, Mayor.
Well, you did say you were moving the motion, which is to receive, and Council Warren seconded it, so
great.
That's where we are.
As printed, yeah.
And so, all in favor? And that's passed. Sorry, were you finished?
Seems like it, Mayor.
Great. That concludes consent agenda. We do have items extracted from consent, and this needs a 2/3 majority because it's a change from council resolution, and it's RS 2025-017, which is surplus property 574 Hartley Road, Woodville, the Hartley Depot. And that report, RS 2025-017, surplus property 574 Hartley Road, Woodville, Hartley Depot be received, and that resolution CR 2014-147 be amended to remove the city-owned former Public Works Depot, municipally known as Hartley, 574 Hartley Road, from the list of properties to be sold, and that the surplus declaration of 574 Hartley Road, Woodville be rescinded. And I have a mover and seconder, Councillor Warren, Councillor Joyce. Councillor Joyce, you want to speak to it?
Yeah, just a quick question. I think it's for CAO Taylor. Just out of curiosity, fire services and community services sharing this building, budget-wise, how is that going to land on the budget?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, so we would simply split the costs. So it would still run through operating budgets of the respective services. And we would, we would calculate sort of based on the actual use sort of within the footprint, whether it's 50-50 or some combination thereof.
Thank you. I can see the chief and the director of community services with their tape measure battling it out already. Thank you very much.
Councillor Richardson.
Thank you. Maybe just one quick question. Are we currently using this site anyways? Are we using it, or is it just sitting dormant? I'm just curious.
Through the mayor, it's essentially sitting dormant. We are using it very sort of passively, if you will. You'll see that it's been sort of on a surplus list for over a decade. So we've done best efforts to try to at least keep lights on and use it modestly. Now that it's being brought back internally, now we need to do some minor refresh to it to extend its life and sort of fully utilize or maximize it.
Makes sense to me. If we've got something sitting there, it's probably cheaper to keep it, right?
So I got a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that's a 2/3 majority. Thank you. Moving on to petitions. I have a request for the installation of speed bumps at specified locations on Pleasant Point Road and Rose Street, Lindsay. A copy of the petition with 36 signatures is available in the city's clerk's office, and this is put forward by Mr. Paul Vesio. Can I have a mover and seconder to receive the petition and forward it to staff for consideration? Councillor Ashmore, you'll do that? Seconder? Councillor Doble? And, yeah, it's okay. It's been a long weekend. Councillor Ashmore, you wish to speak to it?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Basically, it's the main issue is Pleasant Point Road. Rose Street's relatively not that busy a street, although it is a street that's open year-round. But Rose Street is going to be under construction partially when they build. There's maybe 4 houses, I think, being built there, which has been a long time coming for like 40 years. They're going to be, I think, 5 houses. But that corner will be kind of disturbed. But Pleasant Point Road itself was newly paved. I think it was 2017. So that's where they really would, I think, would work good. It would be nice if we had paved shoulder, marked shoulder. That might even do the job, but that's not going to stop speeding. But let it go to staff, and we'll get a report, I guess, when we know when approximately, maybe at the end of the third quarter or something. Or
yeah, I think we'll ask for third quarter.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that good with you? Yes. Okay, we got a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that passes. The next one is a request for reduction of truck traffic and traffic calming for speeding vehicles on Elgin Street, east of Adelaide Street to Albert Street, but I think there was another piece of correspondence from Mr. Niels, and there was a deputation today, and we'll wrap them all up together, from Diane Killoran. And there are, again, 36 signatures, and they're in the clerk's office. So, Councillor Doble, do you want to wrap those three together and refer them to staff for a report back in the third quarter?
So moved.
Thank you. Seconder? Deputy Mayor McDonald? Any comments or questions? Did you want to comment on it?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just would refer to the letter that was written by item 7.4, Mr. Niels. I've gotten to know Mr. Niels over the past several weeks, and I think you'll agree when you read through the letter. He's very intelligent, very articulate, and some intriguing ideas in here. I would note, for example, he makes the observation, we're talking about Elgin Street, that while there are many parallel local or collector streets, there are only 3 streets that fully link Angeline Street and William Street in the North Ward, the other 2 being Colburn Street and Orchard Park Road. I had never thought of it that way. And one of his arguments is that people are using Elgin Street as an alternative to Colburn Street because the lights and the speed on Colburn Street are discouraging, that even though there's a stop sign at every intersection on Elgin Street between Angeline and William, they can get across faster than by going across Colburn Street. And so he has some suggestions in here about trying to encourage more traffic diverted to Colburn Street. I'm not an expert, but I find the thoughts intriguing, which is why I'm particularly interested in knowing the recommendations of staff on this.
Thank you. We have a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that's passed. Item 12.3 is a request for 350 feet of the east side of North Mountain Road off City of Kawartha Lakes Road 41 to be paved. A copy of the petition with 20 signatures available in the clerk's office for viewing, and it was put together by Mr. Barry Spear. I have a motion to receive and refer to staff. Who's got North Mountain? Deputy Mayor McDonald, seconder. Councillor Richardson. Comments, questions? No? All in favor? And that's passed. And finally, 12.4 from Mr. Dave Monzel, a request for Armstrong Court and McGill Drive to be repaved in 2025. A copy of the petition with 20 signatures is available in the clerk's office for viewing, and a motion to receive and refer to staff. Deputy Mayor McDonald, seconder. Councillor Doble. You wish to speak to it?
Yes, thank you, through you. Armstrong Court was addressed prior to the life cycle, so that's going to be done, and I think they're going to do a surly seal on McGill, so it's been dealt with, and we'll get a hold of them. Thanks.
So it's already been dealt with?
Yes.
So all we need to do is receive it?
Yes.
Okay. You're good with just receiving it? Okay.
Thank you.
The motion is to receive it, so
One room has been dealt with, the other one hasn't.
it's okay.
Both Armstrong and McGill?
Deputy Mayor took care of it.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
So it was moved by, who was the mover and seconder?
Moved by Deputy Mayor McDonald and second by Councillor Doble.
Okay. You're okay with the motion? Okay, so we're just receiving, all in favor? And that's passed. We have no other new business, so we go to bylaws. Councillor Perry, you have bylaws.
I certainly do, Mayor. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Warren that the bylaws shown in section 14.1 of the agenda, namely items 14.1.1 to and including 14.1.16, be read first, second, and third time, passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on bylaws? All in favor? And that's passed. Just hang on a sec, I lost one of my important pieces of paper. Sorry about that, folks. Can I get a mover and seconder for the following motion, that the closed session agenda be adopted as circulated? Councillor Perry, Councillor Richardson. All in favor? None. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest for any of the items listed on the closed session agenda? Seeing none, if any arise, let the chair know. We'll deal with it accordingly. At this point of the meeting, City Council will go into closed session to consider the items under Section 16.3 of the agenda. As for our procedural bylaw requirements, I'm asking all electronic participants in our meeting today to confirm to me by raising their hands that they are in a private room where no other persons can overhear the deliberations and the internet connection is secure and not publicly accessible. Please raise your hands to confirm and keep them raised. Thank you. That's fine. Can I get a mover and seconder that council convene into closed session at 3:11 p.m. pursuant to Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act in order to consider matters identified in Section 16.3 of the regular council meeting agenda of Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, namely items 16.3.1 to and including 16.3.4. Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor McDonald, seconder, Councillor Joyce, all in favor? And that's passed. At this point, the meeting broadcast will now end for members of the public watching on Cogeco, your TV cable. The live stream of the meeting on YouTube and the rebroadcast will now temporarily pause for members of the public. When closed session is complete, the live stream and rebroadcast of the meeting will resume to address the remaining open session items on the agenda. All remaining staff, with the exception of those involved within closed session, are now instructed to leave the electronic meeting and council chambers. Thank you. And we'll take, how about we come back at 3:25? Okay, we're good to go. Madam Clerk, matters from closed session.
Through the mayor. Matter from closed session. For information, 16.3.1, the confidential closed minutes for regular council meeting of April 22nd, 2025 were approved. For information, item 16.3.2, council provided direction to staff with regards to the disposition of land along Grove Road. For information, item 16.3.1, council provided direction to staff to proceed with the preparation planning process for the demolition of the identified properties.
16.3.3.
Sorry.
16.3.1.
Sorry, 16.3.3. For information, 16.3.4, council provided direction on the collective bargaining mandate for the Ontario Public Service Employee Union, paramedics. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. That was matters from closed session. Item 18 is a confirming bylaw. Councillor Doble, I believe you have that.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Ashmore that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of a regular council meeting held Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time, passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. All in favor? And that's passed. I have a motion to adjourn. Councillor Warren, Councillor Joyce. All in favor? Thank you all for coming.